everyone, it's Laura Myers for CMS-Connected, and today we'll discuss all of the recent events happening with Acquia with the company's co-founder and CTO, Dries Buytaert. But before inviting him on, I would like to briefly introduce the company for those who aren't familiar with Acquia. The company was launched as a Drupal-based open-source content management system provider by Dries Buytaert and Jay Batson in 2007. But in 2012, Acquia was named number 8 on the Inc. magazine 500 list for 2012, the number 1 software company, and the number 8 company in Boston. Acquia has also received some industry recognition lately, including being positioned as a strong performer in the 2015 Forrester Wave for Web Content Management Systems, and a leader for the 3rd consecutive time by the Gartner Magic Quadrant for Web Content Management 2016. And now to chat with Dries Buytaert, Acquia's CTO. This year, the Gartner's Magic Quadrant once again recognized the company's consistent progress as Acquia narrowed the gap on Sitecore and Adobe on that leaderboard. What are the key drivers behind this unprecedented growth?
Yeah, it's a great question. We're very proud that we were one of the fastest movers again in the Gartner Magic Quadrant for the 3rd year in a row. And we improved on both execution and vision. So we had to demonstrate, obviously, that we made progress on both of these dimensions. But I would say the reason why we're growing so fast and the reason why we're winning in the market is a combination between our technology and how we work with our customers. On the technology side, we use a combination of open source. We were born out of open source. Drupal, the content management system that we support, obviously is completely open source. And that combined with the cloud computing and all of the different cloud tools that we have to offer to bring the real values of the cloud to our customers in terms of speed of development, scalability, cost savings, all of these things combined, I believe gives us a great technology platform that has allowed us to execute and grow really well. That combined with the second piece, which is our focus on customer success. As an organization from day one, we've been really, really focused on making our customers and our partners very successful. And we always try to go above and beyond to do that. That combined with sort of the way our business works, instead of selling licenses where you have to pay a lot of money up front, we are a subscription business, which we believe is also more customer friendly. So it's a combination of customer support, customer service, as well as sort of things that are inherent to our business model that I think contribute to the growth that we've seen.
Well, it is clear that your early vision on the subscription business model has definitely been paying off. Now, a month ago, Acquia launched a new version of its personalization tool, Acquia Lift. I'm really curious about what the challenges were that Acquia aimed to address with this new version.
Yeah, so Acquia Lift is a product that we started a few years ago. As you may know, we started providing commercial grade support for Drupal. And then a few years later, we started with Acquia Cloud, and then we did Site Factory, and then we launched Lift. So every 2 years, we've launched a new product. And so Acquia Lift, in a way, is a younger product. And what that means is that in the first couple of years, of Acquia Lift being in the market, we've learned a lot of things. We've learned how customers want to use it and how they want to integrate it. And there was a lot of things that we could do better. Not that they were necessarily bad, the way they were implemented, but we could do them in a way that was more efficient, easier to use, easier to adopt. But in order to make those changes, we had to actually sort of take 2 steps backwards and, rethink and reimagine, some of the architecture and some of the user interface. So we literally kind of went back to our, bunkers or whatever you want to call it and do a lot of work on that. And so the new version of Acquia Lift is a lot easier to use. It's really optimized for, let's say, business people like marketers and merchants. It uses a lot of drag and drop. It uses things like real-time preview, so you can actually see in real time the changes that you're making. You can see how they would affect, your site or your digital experience. And then for developers, we focused a lot on integration. So it now becomes much more, flexible and easier to integrate Lift in your Drupal site. But also with the new Lift, we made it possible for people to integrate Lift with non-Drupal websites. So if you want to use Drupal content, you can now push it into maybe your commerce website or any other technology really, and personalize these too. So Lift has also become a multi-platform solution, not just optimized for Drupal, but for any kind of website.
Although it's great to hear that with the new capabilities, the platform will personalize and contextualize user experience, but how exactly will Acquia Lift stand out from the existing solutions in the market?
I mean, one of the reasons we stand out, obviously, is that we built this for Drupal, and I think where we're the best is in how it works with Drupal, because, we create Drupal, we work on Drupal, we're the Drupal experts, and so we obviously made this work really, really well. So we believe it works the best with Drupal of all of the solutions out there. And that's really the key differentiator right now. And then over time, we're going to add a lot more capabilities to hopefully differentiate on many other dimensions as well.
I definitely agree that Drupal is a great differentiator with an active community of 35,000 developers. But let's move on to some other exciting news for the community, Acquia Labs. So Acquia is launching a research and development unit called Acquia Lab to prepare for new platforms. I've read that the idea behind launching Acquia Lab was to move from the consumption of content to interacting with it. I think that's such an ingenious idea. I'd love for you to elaborate on that a little bit more.
Yeah, so the purpose of Acquia Labs is really to explore the future of the web or the future of digital. What that means is that there's actually a lot of things we should be doing, but we're living in an interesting time where there's a lot of new technologies coming online, conversational UIs and chatbots and voice assistants on the one hand, machine learning on the other hand, personalization, beacons and the Internet of Things. There's all these new technologies or relatively new technologies that are coming to market or have come to market and that we're starting to adopt. And it's really changing the kinds of digital experiences that we can build. And also, by extension, it's changing the kinds of business models organizations can build. And so our customers, Acquia's customers, are very intrigued on how they can use some of these new technologies to reimagine their business and their customer experience. And so what we want to do with Labs is we want to work alongside with them as partners to bringing some of these technologies to market and then hopefully extracting one or more services that we can sell more broadly as products.
And as CMS-Connected reported on earlier this month, Acquia has entered into a partnership with Magento Commerce, the open source e-commerce platform provider. I would love for you to talk a little bit more about that.
Yeah, well, we're very excited with the partnership, obviously. Magento is probably the number one open source e-commerce, platform. I think our communities are both open source, which actually, I think gives a natural connection there. And, I think it's exciting to explore what we can do together. I think it's great because, as the Drupal project or as Acquia, we want to work with, companies that do e-commerce. And a lot of our existing customers do have Magento, because one of the things that happens a lot is people don't always start with Drupal. Sometimes they started with Magento. And then over time, they wanted to maybe sort of rethink their experience, the shopping experience that Magento has to offer. And I think where we can help Magento is sort of in supercharging that shopping experience, like all of the front-end capabilities of Drupal, all the way from content authoring, but also community and social and all of these things is really our strength. And it's exciting that we can bring that to the Magento world.
We are equally excited to see the innovations that will come from this combination. Now, last but not least, I would like to get your opinion on what the future holds for the content management system technology and what the next platform is for content.
Wow, that's a big question. We could probably talk an hour about this because I think, as I mentioned, we're living in exciting times where there's so many things happening. A couple of the things that I see right now, one, I think we're moving beyond the page. Increasingly more, we're building digital experiences that involve the website and web pages, but also involve, push notifications or involve, increasingly more voice assistants like Amazon Echo and all of these things. So we're really moving to an omni-channel world where you have all of these different channels, and increasingly more, you need to build experiences that go across all of these channels, right? And so there's many different trends in that, including conversational UIs and machine learning, and each of those are kind of big topics on their own. From a technology point of view, that also means content management systems are becoming increasingly headless or decoupled. That's what we call them, or sometimes microservices. And so, because to build these kind of very rich experiences where you deliver the right information to the right user at the right time across all of these different channels, to do that, you need to connect a lot of different technologies together. You may want to connect, as you mentioned, your content management system with an e-commerce system, with a CRM system, with, you name it, marketing automation system, with, all of these systems now need to be orchestrated to work together in harmony in a very intelligent way. And so the headless approach based on web services and the likes is really important to build these kinds of things. So that's one of the things we see more on the technical side.
Well, that's all I have for you today, Dries. Thank you so much for speaking with me.
Awesome. Well, thank you very much for the opportunity, and looking forward to our next conversation.
This is Laura Myers for CMS Connected, having just interviewed Dries Buytaert, CTO of Acquia, to discuss all of the recent and exciting announcements.